goes first. Jenna Wolf. Oh, I'm excited this morning. Jenna Wolf, Nick Wright, Brandon Marshall, Kevin Wilde. We finally have a weekend of football to discuss, and what a weekend it was. Let's get right into it. We are going to start with the most hyped season opener in years. I mean, how could it not be? That's what happens when you got a matchup of 40-year-old starting quarterbacks of the two leading passers in NFL history, and perhaps we all expect a little too much out of this game. That's what I always say about hype, you guys. Brady came out a little rusty, throwing 2 picks, including a costly pick 6. Janoris Jenkins ran back. Brady would finish 23 of 36, 239 passing yards, 3 scores, 2 passing, 1 rushing, and those 2 picks. Wasn't much better for Breeze either. Just 160 yards passing and 2 scores. But Breeze got something that Brady didn't, and that was a win. Bucs are 0-1 out of the gate. Here is Tom Brady after an up-and-down debut.
Yeah, it was just, it felt like a scrimmage out there. But, obviously it counts. And I think we're all disappointed it didn't go our way. But the only people that can do something about it are the guys in the room. And we got to look at each other in the eye and all work harder, put more urgency on the things we have to do, and, get back to work and do a better job. When you don't play your best and you play good teams, you obviously get beat. And we played far from our best. So 3 turnovers, they didn't have any. We had penalties, they didn't have many. We didn't have great field position. They had great field position. It's just all those things add up, and we got to do a much better job in every area.
All right, Brandon, it might be a little early, but is it too early now to be worried about Tom Brady and the Bucs at this point?
Absolutely. It's only week 1, Jenna. Coach Mangini talked about it last week on our show Friday. He talked about continuity versus a lot of change. And we saw that show up play after play this past week, right? So when you look at Tom Brady and Mike Evans, that's the first thing I was looking at. There was a big interception, and a lot of people are probably blaming Tom Brady. Oh, is he too old?
Oh, no.
Physically, physically, does he still have it? But when you look at it, there's too high safety. Mike Evans is in a slot. Mike Evans is taught to get to 12 yards when you see this and you have a seam route and take the middle of the field. He's 6'5", 220 pounds. Tom Brady is expecting Mike Evans to run through the middle of the field. Mike Evans got to 12 yards and he stopped. He put Tom Brady in a bad spot. The second thing I looked at was this offensive line. We talked about the rookie right tackle, but the left tackle was bad. He was more than bad. He was really, really bad. The right tackle, he looked like a rookie at times. And then the last thing that jumped out was the defense. The defense have to help out this offense and Tom Brady if they want to win ball games, which is an easy fix because Coach Todd Bowles, defensive coordinator, did a phenomenal job of calling this game. What he did was genius. He mixed it up on the back end. He sent pressure at times. He held back at times. But what did they do wrong and what do they have to fix and fix fast is the explosive plays. Plays past 15 yards. If they can do that, this defense can be a really, really special defense. So I think that Tom Brady's going to be fine. I think the Bucs are going to be fine. But when you look at those 3 things, they have to fix it. The biggest glaring issue, Nick, it really is that offensive line.
Oh, okay. I thought the quarterback stunk. I mean, I can't believe it. Brandon, you have been so great. And I'm so glad this first month has gone as well as it has. You've been fantastic. I know we'll talk hoops later. You might have called the Nuggets-Clippers series. But it took, for those keeping score at home, it took officially 2 minutes and 12 seconds until all of a sudden we were to the point of the season where Tom Brady doesn't have enough help. Where the interceptions aren't on him. Of course they're not on him. They're always on the receiver. Whether it's N'Keal Harry, Mohamed Sanu, or Julian Edelman, or Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and Tom Brady's odd new favorite target, Scotty Miller, who seemed to be very, very prominently involved yesterday. The pick 6 that went the other way, which, by the way, was Brady's 3rd straight game with a pick 6, all losses where the pick 6 were crushing to his team. I think that one was on him, but it's the same old story.
That was on him.
For some reason or another. Whether it's in New England or Tampa, Brandon, when Brady plays terribly, it's the pieces around him as opposed to maybe, just maybe, the oldest quarterback ever is playing like it. Maybe there's a reason no other quarterback has ever started a full season at age 42 and now into 43. Go.
Nick, I got to stop you there. There was no offseason. There was no preseason. We showed that pick again down the middle of the field. That is on the wide receiver. It's so easy for us watching the game to be able to point at the quarterback and say that's the quarterback's fault. But as a wide receiver, we know if we're in a slot and we have a seam route and there's one safety in the middle of the field, that essentially turns into an inside go down the numbers, literally down the top of the numbers. When it's too high, too deep safeties, you're taught to take the middle of the field, get to 12 yards to be exact, and take the middle. As a wide receiver, and smart wide receivers like Mike Evans, you feel that pressure. You see Demario Davis taking it. So in his mind, he's thinking, well, you know what? This isn't a good look. But that's not his job to think that. His job is to go and take the middle of the field. Tom Brady is going through, in his head, he's thinking, well, this is a 6'5", 220-pound wide receiver. I can throw it up to this guy. It's his ball or nobody's ball. He hasn't had these weapons since Randy Moss. So he's excited to throw it to him and let him make a play. And Mike Evans put his quarterback in a bad spot.
Okay, but let me ask you something, Brandon. As a guy who's Mike Evans' size, Mike Evans' skill set, let's just say, Mike, I agree with you. I'll concede the point on that interception that Mike Evans made a mistake. As a guy who I'm sure in the course of your career, you've made a mistake where you run the wrong route or you do something wrong and it ends up being an interception. You want the quarterback to still have faith and go back to you. A concerning part of yesterday, and I go back to the Tom Brady-Howard Stern interview, I think it was the Stern interview, where he said they knew in New England that if I don't trust a guy, I'm not going to throw to him anymore. So McDaniels can keep him out there, that's fine, but I won't throw to him. Mike Evans makes that mistake early, and he might as well have been inactive as we thought he might be the rest of the game. All of a sudden, it's O.J. Howard, Scotty Miller, and his 13 career catches going into this game were prominently featured. Chris Godwin had some good plays. If you're Mike Evans,
in this situation
are you a little frustrated that the quarterback, you make one mistake and the quarterback won't look your way the rest of the game when you're an all-pro receiver?
No, I mean, I've been in this position before. The question really is, should Mike Evans should have played? Right? Because you're already going in with so much change. There's no chemistry. There's no offseason. We haven't gotten those full speed reps. So Mike Evans coming in was dealing with a hamstring. He was a game time decision. This is what the game was supposed to look like. It is week 1. This is a new team. He's going into a new situation. He's bringing his offense from New England to Tampa. And that was a big question mark as well. It was like, well, how is this going to work? Is it going to be Bruce Arians' offense? Is it going to be Tom Brady and New England's